flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome to our Monday, March 18th school board meeting. We will start with our approval, deletions, additions. Dr. Baracco.
Thank you, Mr. Seuss. You do have one amendment to the agenda, Roman numeral 7B2. We have postponed our high school winter sports update to our next meeting.
Thank you. Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve?
Motion by Mrs. Kelly. Second by Dr. Malco. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you. Is there any correspondence, Mrs. Kelly?
There is not this evening.
Thank you. We'll go into our committee updates. Mr. Marshall.
Thank you. Nothing to report this evening.
Mrs. Kelly.
I also have nothing this evening.
Dr. Malco.
Wonderful celebration tonight with the Lake Central. There will be a wonderful celebration tonight in a few minutes with the Lake Central Education Foundation awarding the grant. It was a great turnout, so we're very excited. Legislative, I have nothing to report. And with Dyer Parks Department, they're continuing to move forward throughout the community to make sure all their parks are in good shape for the children this summer. That's all.
Great. And I have nothing for Dollars for Scholars or the St. John Redevelopment Committee, but we did have a construction meeting back on March 5th, and I know that Mr. Ledgerd will update us all. And with that, we will move to our official school board business topics consent agenda. Dr. Baracco.
Thank you again. Seek board approval for the special board meeting we had on March 4th, the minutes from our regular board meeting on March 4th, the minutes from our executive session on March 7th, and our special board meeting on March 7th. Also, seek board approval for the claims, payroll, and extracurricular expenditures you received in your packets last week.
Move to approve.
Motion by Mr. Marshall, and I will second that. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. And we have no public comments regarding action items, so we'll move into our official school board business topics regular agenda. Dr. Baracco.
All right, we'd like to kick this evening's meeting off with Mrs. Novak from the high school coming up to make some special recognitions of outstanding student achievement.
There we go now.
All right, good evening, everybody. Thank you for being here. The first person I'm going to recognize, I know this student isn't able to attend because he is busy playing in the boys varsity volleyball game that's happening right now as well. But I did want to take a few minutes and just recognize Hunter Carroll. And Hunter Carroll has been selected as an Indiana Academic All-Star for 2024. As the principal, I get the opportunity to nominate a student that has high accolades, such as many advanced courses, AP courses, has a great background in academics, and is capable of showing good leadership skills, and is very active in his community as well. So I nominated Hunter Carroll, and he was selected. So if we could give him a round of applause. All right, and then the next student that I have the opportunity to recognize is Milica Lukic, and she is being recognized tonight for moving on as a finalist in the National Merit Program of 2024. Milica, if you can come on down. We've been busy at the high school, so many great things happening, lots of great things to recognize. Our next person that we are going to recognize tonight is one of our staff members, and it's Jennifer Schmidt. Jennifer Schmidt is our one of our FACS teachers, and she is being recognized by FCCLA for the Spirit of Advising Award. So Jennifer. So just a few words about Jennifer, because she's very special. She won this award. It's called the Spirit of Advising Award, and it's because she recognizes a lot of the things that her students do, and she does a great job. She's always willing to put the extra effort into that program and build that program as well. So we are extremely fortunate to have her. Jennifer is one of our, like I said, FACS teachers. Her classes are very popular in the school, and the kids love to be in her classes, and we're very fortunate to have her. So again, if we can give her a round of applause. So Jennifer's going to help me recognize the students who are part of the FCCLA, and I'm going to let her say what FCCLA stands for. But these students go to the State Leadership Conference, and we had many students receive high recognitions in many of their competitions that they competed in. So we are very happy tonight to recognize them. So since this is her club, I'm going to let her say a few words, and I'll help her pass out these certificates. Thank you.
Okay, so the club that we're referring to is called Family, Career, and Community Leaders of America, and it is a nationally recognized organization, and it promotes career exploration within the field of family consumer science. So some of the topics that students explore are early childhood education, culinary arts, baking and pastry arts, interior design, fashion design and construction, just to name a few. And these students went to State Leadership Conference this year. We had 5 seniors this year that are going to be graduating, and we also had 6 new members that attended and went completely blind to the State Leadership Conference and did an amazing job. So really looking forward to what they do in the future as well. So we're going to go ahead and recognize them for their events. We had Ashton Payne. She competed in baking and pastry, and she received silver. I don't think Ashton's here. We had Sydney Bacher and Kieran Skipper. They competed in interior design, and they received silver. You can come over here and say. Yep. We had Amaya Scott. She competed in fashion design. She received silver. We had Savannah Jones, who competed in early childhood education and received silver. We had Savannah. Congratulations. Here goes Savannah. We had Brooke Kennedy. She competed in interior design trend board, and she received gold. We had Jonathan Gregoriadis, thank you. Caitlin Kuchars and Izzy Grosick, who competed in interior design trend board and received bronze. Okay. We had Amelia Dominic. She competed in fashion designed trend board and received silver. Congrats, Amelia. We had Caitlin Blair. She competed in career exploration and she received silver. I know, that's my mistake. Congratulations.
And I don't know if you noticed, but a true testament to Mrs. Schmidt, she didn't even need the Crip notes on that. She knew everything by heart. So again, kudos to everybody. We're very proud of you competing so well at the state conference. Congratulations.
Move together, like you like each other.
Okay, can the parents of these successful students please rise to be recognized? Okay, at this time, we're going to introduce Mrs. Schweitzer, Mrs. Talent, and I think Mrs. Wolf to come up and talk about the Ed Foundation
Jennifer.
Round 60 grants.
Jennifer? Sorry, Duna.
Hi, guys. Okay, first we'd like to say the Lake Central Foundation, this is our 60th grant round. So we named it the Sensational 60th Grant Round. So we're really excited about, hi guys, about all that. Okay, so our first grant was for swim fins for $999.80 was Karen Earhart and Ann Downey for swim fins. The Center of Disease Control and Prevention states that drowning is the second leading cause of death for kids ages 5 to 14. Lake Central has taken an active role part to the reduction of the statistics provided by the professional guidance in the Learn to Swim process. The use of the fins greatly enhanced students' ability to adapt to the water and to gain confidence in their ability to survive in the water. So, Karen, come on down. Yay. I guess Louise has the checks. Okay. We don't want to see those. Okay. I'm going to keep reading. Okay. The second grant was Clark's Best Buddies. Beth and Megan can't be here, so Mr. Graber. Okay, so Mr. Graber is coming to get their check. Best Buddies is a nonprofit organization that has 3,397 chapters with 120,708 participants. We are honored that Clark Middle School is one of the newest members. As a new member, this grant will provide a financial resource to serve students by providing opportunities to form a lasting relationship through their school experience and beyond. Through the Best Buddies program, students who have intellectual difficulties are paired with students who do not have those challenges. This partnership fosters relationships which helps to end the social, physical, and economical isolation that can be experienced by people who with intellectual and development disabilities. So, Mr. Graber, come on up and get their check for $237.09. The third grant is Waterproof Your World for $379.98 from Miss Linda Pollock. Purchasing a weather station for Colleen would give students a real-world example of how weather changes with the seasons and how those changes are predictable based upon weather information such as barometric pressure, humidity, and wind speed. Students will use this information to create tables and graphs. And the next one, number 4, is also by Linda Pollock. Okay. The Secret Code of Fractions for $759.98. Fraction towers will be used to supplement and enhance the current math series to provide hands-on investigation of fractions, equivalent fractions, comparing fractions, simplifying fractions, as well as adding and subtracting fractions. We have some fraction tower sets, but not enough to allow our students to work independently and demonstrate their understanding of the key concepts. Okay. Okay. Homan and Watson students are Drumtastic by Lynn Pusey and Elizabeth Schultz for $641.78. Drumtastic is the next level of a collaborating total hands-on cardio. It is the health, fitness, and wellness program based on science. The brain-body work encompasses the fitness and movement-based approach to learning via musical rhythm and movement. The students will utilize multiple areas of their brain to create complex skills which improve brain activity and concentration. Drumtastics provide health and fitness on multi-levels: physical, psychological, neurological, educational, emotional, social, and rhythmical. Let's go get drums. Hi, sweetie. Okay. Sorry, those are my old friends. Okay. Number 7 is Number 7 is Physical Health and Growth Motor Skills by Crystal Lippy for $503.92. Tricycles are used as an early intervention to supplement gross motor skills for students with and without disability, promoting communication, play, and social emotional skills. It also develops balance and core strength needed to complete school activities. Increasing confidence, participation, and social interaction leads to increased student independence. So, yay, Crystal. Okay. So our 8th grant is cardio drumming for $344.54. Gina Shanken. Oh, she said she was coming. Okay. Gina's not here? Okay. We'll go on to the Big Five by Christy Bashar and Sherry Venturelli for $980. Yay. Okay. Our grant will help support strong foundational skills for reading. We understand the importance of early intervention for students who struggle with reading, as well as ongoing assessments and progressing monitoring to ensure that all students are making progress. The Big Five are essential and successful literacy outcomes. This will take place during the school day, during literacy centers, MTSS, and the daily interventions with the reading specialist. Thanks, ladies. There were 2 other grants, dual full keyboard sets by Paul Hickey. He's not here tonight, and also Rods to Learn, which are Cuisinart rods, by Jennifer Miller. Those 2 cannot be here this evening. Okay, so More Than STEM bins for $814.70. Kimberly Butler. A school-wide sensory bin library will provide all students with the tools to promote sensory learning in order to achieve improved classroom self-regulation and overall academic success. Celebrating the seasons throughout writing and literature for $998.52 is Tracy Capozzi. Celebrating the seasons. Hi. Celebrating the seasons will provide opportunities for my students to practice and improve their reading and writing skills while celebrating everything that makes each month exciting. These high-interest picture books and novels will excite and motivate students to dive into literature, exploring more different text, and write in ways that will boost their skills through being engaged and motivated to learn the content. Yay, Tracy. Okay. 6 steps to enhance student learning. Julie Walker, Brittany Perry, Kim Yellish, Amanda Merzon, and Stephanie Tupac, which are the Watson Kindergarten team. Okay. The science of reading research precisely tells instructors to teach phonics explicitly and systematically. This step to enhance students' learning 30 kit proposal provides dual, oh, hi, come on up. Okay, that provides dual portable hands-on multisensory graphing with 6-step lesson plans to teach phonemic and phonics skills. All Watson students will learn decoding, spelling, and fluency during their daily differentiated reading block. I don't know if you guys saw, this is $11,000. We gave away $11,000 this time, so. Oh, and Mr. Pucci. Hi, Vince.
We have 2 more to give.
Did I skip a page? Probably.
You skipped Vince.
I skipped Vince.
He was the first one here.
I know, Mr. Vince, Drones for Kaler Middle School project lead the way. For $859.96. By engaging with drone programs, students will develop an understanding of coding concepts in an accessible and interactive manner. Students will learn a new coding language and how our current language can adapt to multiple applications. To complete the course, students will work in groups to develop a flight path, complete in drone races within the classroom, and real-world applications to the classroom.
We have one more grant to award tonight. It's the Make a Word grant for $991.25 to Miss Melody Wolf. Phonics instruction has been identified as a key element in students successfully learning to read. Students learn phonics through systematic, hands-on, interactive use of the Make a Word chart. Now you can finish.
Okay, we would like to thank the other board members for coming. We have Mike Seljan, Molly, and Waldron, and Zach Waldeer, and Zach Seljan. Okay, thank you.
Good job.
Oh, Cindy, it's not a big deal, but you left Dr. Medlock.
Caught that.
You did, okay, very good.
Thank you for pointing it out.
Okay.
We want to thank the Education Foundation for the generous grants tonight, and we want to thank our families who came out for other recognition. We're going to continue with the business meeting of our board, but if you have other things you need to get to, this is a good time to exit, not stage left, but through the back.
And I would like to add, if you haven't had a chance to go to the Lake Central Education Foundation website, do so, because we have some of our teachers on video talking about the impact of the support from the grants. So it's pretty neat. Good to see everyone here tonight. Thank you.
It's blue. I don't care. Okay. I think they Xeroxed it anyways. Okay. Jeannie had that pen. It's all her fault.
Okay, we'll resume. For my final item this evening, I just want to give the board a quick update. about the coaling safety drill that we conducted last Thursday with local law enforcement. We had not just Tri-Town officers, but we had the Lake County SWAT down at Coaling. Director of Security Brian Kissinger orchestrated the drill, and by all accounts that I've seen, it was largely successful. Of course, anytime you do a drill, you learn a few things that you can do better, and that's the purpose. The drill, as previously determined, was designed to practice movement within a school. In this particular drill, students' roles were very minimal. We were trying not to spook students with any loud noises or anything along that line. We did use the students at the end of the drill to have them evacuate to the gym so we could practice that portion of a potential event. We do again appreciate the participation of officers from all of our towns, our St. John Chief Flores, Deputy Chief Demeter, members of the Lake County SWAT for taking the time to be present. I think what I observed after the local officers did their sweep, then the regional SWAT team got an opportunity to do the follow-up sweep, which I heard was very beneficial to them. When we practice these kinds of things, it does translate to other school buildings, whether it's in Lake Central or somewhere else in the county. The next large drill for our district will be without any students. It'll be held over the summer. Again, it will be designed by our Director of Security and will help people familiarize yourself with not just our school, but schools in general and how to move around and access keys and how to communicate to the best possible. And again, we're hoping that as we help these first responders prepare, that they're preparing for a response they never have to conduct. So I just wanted to make people aware that it went well. We don't provide a ton of details, as always, when it comes to school safety, but I think it is important to practice moving around schools, and we thank our law enforcement for helping us in this endeavor.
And thank you for allowing our schools to do this. All right, so now we'll move on to our Assistant Superintendent, Mrs. Castaneda.
Thank you. I just have one item this evening, which is to seek your approval for the personnel recommendations. Motion to approve? Oh, sorry.
We have a motion by Dr. Malco and a second by Mrs. Kelly. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
And with that, I'm going to read a statement. Last week, Dr. Jennifer Medlin announced her intent to resign from the Lake Central School Corporation Board of Trustees. She submitted in writing that her resignation is effective March 17, 2024. At this time and until 4 o'clock on March 31st, 2024, the school board is accepting letters or emails of interest for the vacant board seat. The chosen candidate will serve the remainder of Dr. Medlin's term, which expires on 12/31/24. Interested candidates must possess the requisite qualifications provided for regularly elected board members, including at least 21 years of age, and resides in the residential district for Dr. Medlin's seat, the Dyer District. Interested parties should submit a brief letter of interest stating why they wish to serve on the board and include a home address, email address, and the best phone number for contact. The letter of interest should be submitted to the board president, Cindy Sues, at csues@lcscmail.com, or delivered to the central office, door F, at the Lake Central High School campus. Put that to my attention, Cindy Sues. This information will be posted on the school corporation website also. And I just would like to thank Dr. Medlin for her 3.5 years of service with this board, and if anybody else would like to make a comment, now would be that time. Thank you. We'll move on to our, Mr. Marshall?
No, that's right. I was going to concur with your sentiment. Thank
Okay.
you.
Well, I would like to thank Dr. Medlin for her support of our administrative team, and I'd also like to thank her for her discreet generosity with our teaching staff. She helped a lot of staff members with learning materials without recognition by design, and that's very admirable to me. So I thank her for not only her support of our administrative team, but for helping our teachers the best she could. Thank you.
Thank you. And now on to our Director of Primary Education, Dr. Bracy.
Good evening. For my first item, I am seeking approval for the professional leave request you have in your packets.
Move to approve.
Motion by Mr. Marshall, and I will second that. Any discussion, questions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion, any opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you. Next, I would like to seek approval for the field trip request you have in your packets.
Motion by Dr. Malco,
I'll second.
second by Mrs. Kelly. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
And for a very exciting announcement, as you know, we were awarded the Science of Reading grant this year, and that allowed us to adopt a reading series 1 year earlier than expected. So our amazing reading committee, we've been meeting since, we've been meeting for a few months now, and we were waiting on the approved list to be released by the state, and it was finally released at the end of January. So we spent many days during the month of February meeting with different vendors, and last week, all of the committee members cast their vote, and 24 out of 30 members voted for McGraw-Hill's open court reading. So that will be our reading series starting the year 24-25 for K through 4. And they liked the series because there were a lot of different things, but they liked the frequency words, they liked the decodables, they liked the reading and writing scope of sequence, they liked the questions throughout the stories and after reading the different stories. They liked the spelling words that were based on prior skills. They appreciated the consistent routines for sound blending, morphology, more differentiated reading passages. They like the grammar sequence, and that cursive starts in 2nd grade. There were a lot more things, but those were just some of the things I highlighted for reasons why they adopted open court reading. So all of our K through 4 schools will train on May 14th during our early release day. Any questions?
So Dr. Bracy, is it a
Yes.
comprehensive program, meaning does it have all the
It has everything.
components? The big
I'm
five
sorry.
are there.
Everything is
We
there.
cannot slip again on that. And you said 2nd grade is the cursive now? Did you say that?
In their series, it starts in 2nd grade.
Are we doing it there or still in 3rd grade?
Well, we're going to start meeting, the scope and sequence is pretty much done for us, so we're just going to go through and make sure everything is there and we're doing everything that's in the series. So I won't answer that tonight because I don't want to give you a false answer, but hopefully we can stick with their scope and sequence and we can start it in 2nd grade.
It'd be interesting to see if the children are too young for that type of, I don't know. I'm just used to 3rd grade, so it'll be interesting. And I'm glad that we will have the materials we need and the direction and all the supports for the Big Five. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
May I say something briefly?
Sure.
I just want to say thank you to Dr. Bracy. Had she not obtained the grant that she did, we would not be in a position to be moving forward with this adoption as early as we are. And so I truly appreciate your efforts to make that happen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you. And I just want to say thank you to the committee members because it was a lot of hard work in a short period of time, and we had to do things that were non-traditional, like we couldn't pilot this because we have to have everything done by a certain date. So they did a lot of hard work. So some of them are in the audience right now, so thank you to our reading committee. I really appreciate every single one of you.
Thank you. All right, our Director of Secondary Education, Mrs. Schoeneman.
Thank you. For my first item this evening, I'm seeking the board's approval for the professional leave requests included in your packet.
Motion to approve?
Motion by Mrs. Kelly. I will second that. Any discussion, questions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you. And for my second item, I'm seeking the board's request the board's approval for the field trip requests also included in your packet.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Mr. Marshall. Second by Dr. Malco. Any discussion, questions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you. And I'd like to take the opportunity to provide a brief update regarding Lake Central School Corporation's eclipse plan. The solar eclipse will occur on April 8th. Northwest Indiana will actually experience a partial solar eclipse. Some areas in central Indiana will experience a total solar eclipse and momentary total darkness. Here in Northwest Indiana, we will experience 95% totality. Our plan for Eclipse Day is to have a regular school day and capitalize on the educational opportunities. In that vein, teachers have been asked to fill out a Google form indicating if they would like to bring their class out to view the eclipse safely with proper eyewear. And so we are tallying up those results, and we'll be finalizing our plan with the glasses, and they will meet all guidelines as put out by the safety. And we will be releasing the high school early at 1:30 p.m. The reason for that is we want to get them home before the peak eclipse time of 2:07, which is really close to our high school dismissal. Partial eclipse ends at 3:22 p.m., which means our middle school students will dismiss after everything is all over. Our elementary students will all be provided glasses in an abundance of caution, not because they will all be viewing the eclipse, but because they will be dismissing from school during the eclipse window. Parents will receive information this week from both corporation and building levels. Parents will be notified if their child's teacher has elected to bring that class out to view the eclipse, and every student who would be going outside will have to have a waiver on file. So that will all be coming out here this week. Any questions?
Thank you for doing that. And now on to our Director of Student Services, Mrs. Grimala.
Thank you. My item tonight is to update the board on our changes to our exit criteria for English language learners. I talked about this a little bit at the beginning of the year, and at that time we were still waiting for guidance from the Department of Ed. So we have more guidance, and I've worked with our EL teachers to develop our plan and how we are going to implement this. So just as a reminder, our students who are non-native English speakers are screened when they come into the district, and then they potentially qualify to receive English language learner services. Those students are then tested annually to test their English proficiency with a test called the WIDA. So students who score a score of 5 on the WIDA automatically exit the program and no longer receive services. But what we have seen is that there are students who seem sort of stuck, and all of the other data we have would indicate they are proficient and doing well, but they can't quite get that score. Indiana also has one of the highest proficiency scores nationally. Illinois, for example, dismisses at a 4.6. And we require our students to get to a 5. So what the Department of Ed has done is they've created a range of 4.3 to 4.9, and for students who test in that range, we will be allowed to review additional pieces of data as a committee and decide if we have sufficient data to dismiss them from services. So this will not be done for every student who scores in that range, but it will be an option for us when we believe that students should be dismissed. So this will only be done for students in grades 3 and above. I included in your packet what we've put together as our plan. So what the Department of Ed has said is we need one piece of data in what they're calling Category A, and then a piece of data from Category B, and then a third item that is from either category. So it will require us to have multiple sources of data on our students. So Category A will be formative assessment areas. So it can be their iLearn ELA scores, an iRead3 assessment, or other district formative assessments. So right now, for students this year, that might be iReady. Moving forward, it could be iReady or our iLearn checkpoints. Category B is local summative assessments. So those would be common assessments across the district. Things like our end of course assessments or finals for our ELA classes, or common ELA assessments for middle school or elementary students. We can have teacher observations or work samples. What we talked about with our, within our EL group would be to use essays that they've written for their English classes evaluated against the WIDA rubric. So it would be the same rubric that's used on the WIDA test. However, we would be using it on a classroom writing assignment instead of something they completed during the test. We can also use a classroom language sample, so if the student, if we want to look at their speaking skills and evaluate that against our WIDA rubric for speaking. Grades are an option for students, but what we talked about in our group is we sort of want that to be our third data point. We want to use that only if we have other pieces of data to support. So that would be something we could review. So that's our plan right now. The state is awaiting final approval. So we should be able to do this for students. Our WIDA testing was completed in January. We will usually get the scores back in May. So we should be able to utilize this process for students this school year. We'll have to do it within the first 30 days of our 24-25 school year. All of this data will have to be reviewed by a committee, including the students' parents. So we will have multiple people involved in looking at this. We will have to report the students who exit early to the Department of Ed, and then the Department of Ed is going to monitor those scores, future scores for those students to make sure we are making good choices about who we are exiting services. And students can, if we do utilize this process and exit them early, if we see they are continuing to struggle, they can always re-enter the program as well. So that is all I have on that. Thank you.
Could I ask some questions of you, please?
Of course.
So then each school corporation will submit their own model?
We do not have to submit our model at this point.
Okay.
What we have to do is submit an individual report for each student.
Okay.
Any student that is exited early, we will have to submit their data indicating why they were dismissed early.
So this will be used by all districts then?
Every district is going to have to define what data points they will use, so this is just what
Right.
our EL team decided on.
Our guidelines, right, okay. And then the number of students that are within the services for ELS or whatever.
Ms. DeVries will be here before the end of the school year to give a full report, but we are above 400.
Oh, really?
I think we're around 460.
So Liz will be here to do a
Yes, she'll
report?
come and do her annual report on our students and their scores and all of that good stuff.
Do you know off the top of your head the largest group as far as ethnicity?
I believe it is still Hispanic, so
Okay.
Spanish speaking is our highest language.
Okay.
But behind that, we have a lot of Gujarati, Arabic, Serbian, so we have a pretty good
Okay.
mix. The last time I looked at her numbers, and I haven't seen them updated for this year, we had 28 different languages represented in our corporation.
Wow. Amazing.
Yes, it's a wide range. It makes Lake Central an exciting place to be.
Absolutely, absolutely. And Rebecca, how is your special education parent group working out?
Wonderfully. They are going to be coming to our next meeting to present their first round of impact awards that they are going to be awarding to staff members who support students with special needs.
Oh.
So they're going to come to our next meeting and talk a little bit about the organization and then present those awards.
Perfect. Appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And now on to our Director of Facilities, Mr. Ledyard.
Thank you, Mrs. Seuss. First on my agenda tonight is just an update on the projects. On the Bibbage project, as you said, we had a construction meeting last week. It's going along very well. On Tuesday, the 12th, we moved the 4 teachers from the existing classrooms 1, 2, 3, and 4 to the new 4-classroom addition. They moved there that afternoon so that we could have these classrooms for the last 9 weeks. The move went very well. They've been teaching in there now for a week. Things are well there. Today, we also started serving lunch in the classrooms, as I told the board at our last board meeting. Last week, we moved the kitchen equipment Friday to room 4. That's kind of the old classroom 4 is kind of a food prep area for food service. They are cooking off-site and bringing everything over. and they're kind of getting everything organized in room 4, and they've got a great delivery system with wagons, and I was over there this morning for the first 2 lunches. Allison's in the audience. Things went very well. The kids were great. Cleanup went well, so for the first day, it was very few issues at all, so it looks like that's going to progress pretty well. We're going to start serving breakfast in the gym on Wednesday so that the kids get the hang of that, so that after spring break, when they come back, they've already had experience for both lunch and breakfast. And we will be closing up a little bit of the hallway there where we took those 1, 2, and 3 rooms so that we can start work there to get the hallway through to the 10th classroom addition over spring break and start that work. We also started the panels on the cafeteria last week, and we'll be starting the cafeteria work over spring break as well. So it's going very well there, and we just want to keep the momentum going here, starting on spring break with some new areas. Before I move on, any questions on Bibbage?
So, Mr. Ledyard, what would you guess as a final date?
Well, we're still shooting for August is always the date.
You think it's going to work?
So far, yeah, that's on schedule as of now.
Awesome. Okay, I had several people ask me, so I thought I'd ask you and know the truth. So thank you.
The Freshman Center, we've got lots of work to do here over spring break. As I said before, we are planning on all those units that are sitting outside the technology in the pool area. We are having cranes on site here over spring break, which would start the 25th through the 29th. On the 26th, 27th, and 28th, we'll have the road closed on the south side of the building here. Door E and F will be closed as well. I've talked to people at our office. We'll enter through the pool because we're going to be transporting those units from where they are now to the freshman parking lot, so we can have roof access with our cranes. We should have all those done in 3 days. So that we have also we've been installing air handlers where we can throughout the building. We hope by the end of spring break we'll have all the air handlers installed but 2, which is really ahead of schedule because we've been working with Erin, which we appreciate greatly, that she's let us do some things. We had the LGI room shut down for a couple of weeks, so it's really helped us out to kind of get ahead of schedule. On Friday the 29th, which is Good Friday, we will have a power outage here at the freshman wing for the morning, so we can install a new electrical switch that I've already talked to Mr. Kalinsky. There's nothing going on at the pool, so it should be pretty seamless because nobody will be here but me and my contractors and a few other people, so that should be pretty seamless. So that's the Freshman Center update. Grimmer, we did finally receive the missing air handler unit. It showed up last Wednesday. We offloaded it. We already started doing the prep work, and they finished putting it up on the mezzanine today. So we'll be putting some things back together, doing the duct work the next few days, and by the end of next week, we should have it up and running, so that's going well there as well. And then over spring break, we'll be doing minor odds and ends as far as punch list things that we can't get into classrooms till spring break. So by end of spring break, that should be 100% complete. Any questions?
Mr. Ledyard, when did you say they were going to start moving the air handlers into the freshman wing area?
Well, they're moving up on the roof
Yeah,
on
but
spring
when
break.
did you say, during spring break?
Yeah, Tuesday through Thursday over spring break.
You know, and as I walk the halls, because many times I go to events and I come in the back door because I live back there, and it gives me an opportunity to see the entire building. And I'm telling you, when I walk through here, it doesn't even occur to me this building is, 10 years old, the renovations?
Oh, yeah, it's
Yeah.
going on, what's 11?
I mean, it's just in great shape, and so appreciation to you and your staff for
Thank you.
keeping it that way.
My next item is to seek your approval to award and execute change order number 2 to Larson Danielson Construction Company, Inc. for the Bibbage Project Bid Package 8 in the amount of $14,364. This is to add hard surface materials to the 14 classroom window sills in lieu of the painted block. We just thought it looked better, and so we wanted to do that. This will come out of the project contingency.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Marshall,
Second.
second by Dr. Malco. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
My final item is to seek your approval to award and execute the SAI allowance authorization number XA1-1 to Arctic Engineering Company for the freshman center renovation in the amount of $22,836.70. This is to replace all the HVAC diffusers in the freshman center. Maybe an oversight during design. We were putting new ceilings and LED lights in all the rooms, and the diffusers, reusing the diffusers were not going to look so nice, so we have an allowance, so we thought we'd replace the diffusers as well.
Also move to approve.
Motion by Mr. Marshall,
I'll second.
second by Ms. Kelly. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you. And our Director of Business Services, Mr. James.
Thank you. My only item this evening is to seek your approval for the donations that were included in your board packet.
So moved.
Motion by Dr. Malco, and I will second that. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you.
And we're on to our public comments, and we have one sign up, Mike Mila Kovacevic.
Thank you. You said it pretty well. Thank you. Yes, so just to announce, my name's Mike Kovacevic, resident of St. John, parent also of a elementary school student. So I just came just to, one, follow up on the August 21st, 2023 school board meeting when I brought it to your attention regarding only one book on Jesus Christ in the school libraries, and including the elementary and high school. And it's the title is called Charismatic Cult Leaders, and it's in reference to, I guess, the Latter-day Saints, but that's the only book that populates in your public library under Jesus Christ. So I just wanted to follow up to see if there was any discussion between the board, and in regards to that, if there hasn't been any discussion, can the community work with the school board to donate books on Jesus Christ just to the school district's libraries, and then you guys can allocate them to, obviously there would be brand new books that I would try to coordinate within the community for donations, but like I think that it should be, if anyone's Christian on the school board, I hope maybe we have at least one, but that should be appalling that we only have one book on Jesus Christ in our school district library, and it calls him, like, suggests that he's a charismatic cult leader. And
Yeah, that book isn't even about Jesus Christ. That
But-
book is about Joseph Smith,
right, but
the
that's
founder of the
only-
Mormon Church. But to speak to how books get in the library, they generally are at least tangentially related to the course work in the schools. And we really, at the high school, for instance, we don't have a Religions of the World class, so that's why you wouldn't find those books. But they are in the public libraries, which are also accessible in our towns.
True, that is true, but there's also books on Satan, transgenderism, and all these other religions within the school district's library. So, but you're right, that one book isn't even on Jesus Christ, but that's the only book that populates when you do a search within the catalog. So I wanted to bring that to your attention. And then I just wanted to read a Supreme Court precedent. So as the Supreme Court elaborated in Tinker, as the Supreme Court explained more than 50 years ago in Tinker versus Des Moines Independent School District 393 U.S. 503-506 in 1969, students do not shed their constitutional rights to freedom of speech or expression at the schoolhouse gate. Indeed, the vigilant protection of constitutional freedom is nowhere more vital than in a community of American schools. School officials may not censor student speech because of the religious content of that speech. That's Widmer versus Vincent, 454 U.S. 263, 269 in 1981. And further, it says the Supreme Court elaborated in Tinker, when a student is in the cafeteria or on the playing field or on the campus during the authorized hours, he or she may express his opinions. Students have the right to pray, discuss religious beliefs, and even share religious materials with their peers between classes, a break, a lunch, and before and after school. School interference with these rights is not appropriate unless such actions would cause a material and substantial disruption of the school discipline. And the only reason I'm bringing this up is just with the reference to the lawsuit that was submitted by the ACLJ regarding the track meet. I don't know if anyone has any comments with regards to that.
We're working through that issue. We do agree with what you said, though, about students not shedding their rights at the schoolhouse gate. We fully agree with you.
Okay, all right. And then yeah, just because, you know, like, someone was trying to reference that school policy doesn't allow for large groups, but the school policy, wherever, regardless it is, due to Supreme Court precedent and the U.S. Constitution, school policy never trumps the U.S. Constitution or the precedent set by the Supreme Court, so.
There's no school policy.
There's no such thing as
No.
that? Okay. All right. And if I wanted to gather some books, who would I reach out to just to either donate to, so we have some books on Jesus Christ other than?
You can bring them to our central office and we'll get them in the school libraries.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you. And with that, we will go to our board comments and consideration of future agenda items. Mr. Marshall.
Thank you. I guess in light of the evening's activities, it's gratifying to see all the grants that were awarded to our elementary staff, and my hat is off to all of them.
Thank you. Mrs. Kelly.
No comment this evening.
Dr. Malco.
I have nothing.
And I have nothing either, so we will turn it over to Dr. Rocco for board calendar of future activities.
I just want to draw everybody's attention that our next meeting is not 2 weeks from today because that is still a school vacation day. So we are on Tuesday, April 2nd, and we'll either be in here if we have significant recognitions or we'll be back in K-Trap if it's a smaller group. Thank you.
Thank you. And with that, do we have a motion for adjournment?
Motion to adjourn.
And a second, and all in favor?
All good.
Adjourned.